Good day, my lovely people. You're so much welcome to the channel. This is Yuglo Fashion, and thank you so much for stopping by. This is what we are learning today: a circle high and low dress. I decided to make the belt this way, and also I used the same pattern for this other dress, but this is a bit longer than the other one. I used 3 yards for this, and the onion one I used 2.5 yards. So please stay tuned and enjoy the tutorial. It's beginner friendly. First of all, I placed the 2 edges together. And I ensure the edges are equal. Please note that ensure the edges are equal and place it this way. The joint part, just take it to the edge like this. It will give you a triangular shape anyways, because I don't know the best way to explain this, but you will have a triangular shape at the end of the day where you place it the way I did. You have a triangular shape, and ensure there's no ruffles in between. There's no ruffles inside it. It is well placed. And ensure the edges are equal like I measured earlier. So having done with that, you measure the circumference of the shoulder. The circumference of the shoulder is 15 inches. Divided by 2 will give 7.5 inches. So I mark that out. I mark the 7.5 inches. You can see there is excess down. That is, this down part is not equal. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So from this, the shorter part, you measure the length you have there. So for me, the side, this will serve as the side of the gown. So the side is 36 inches. I use 36 inches. But if you are making yours like the other fabric, the longer one, you use 3 yards. So you have a longer side. So this is just the length of this fabric, because I don't want you to have any joining there. So I'll be using 36 inches, and the length here, this is the length of the full length of my dress. So the full length of my dress is 59 inches. So I have the 59 inches here. So I actually started the measurement from the shoulder I measured earlier. So let me re-measure it so you will see it clearly, because I noticed I backed the camera there. So this is the 7 inches. This is the 7 inches, and I ruled it out. After that, I went ahead to measure the length of the side. So the length is 36 inches. You can see the 36 inches. Having done with the 36 inches, the full length is 59. So I measured the 59. So I try to adjust it just to ensure that it's clear. So after measuring it, I just cut everything out and later cut the neckline as well. So for the shoulder, the first thing I measured after cutting the shoulder, I measured the width of the neckline. So for the width, I used 5 inches because I want the neck to be wide. I used 5 inches, and because I'm cutting both front and back together here, I used 1 inch. So the circumference I use for the neckline of the front of the back is 1 inch, 5 by 1 inch, and at the shoulder here I slant it with 1 inch. This is the shoulder slope, so I measure 1 inch at the side, then slant it back to the neckline. Then for the shoulder, I just measured 2.5 inch for the shoulder distance. I don't know the name to call this. And also for the armhole, I measure 5 inch and I cuff it out. This is the armhole already. And I opened the joint parts that I have at the edge here. I opened it out. So I went ahead to separate the front from the back, and also for the neckline of the front I used 3 inches. You know, I've separated the back from it, so I later measured from the shoulder 3 inches, then reshaped the neckline of the front. So now for the back I used 5 by 1. For the front I used 5 by 3. Now to the sleeve. For the sleeve, I picked the remaining part of the fabric. Actually, I have extra ½ inch left, so I have that aside from the normal fabric. I bought 3 yards. I cut out half just to ensure that it's shortened at the side. So the extra ½ inch I used, I marked the edge out. I folded it into 4 equal sides. Then I measured it from the shoulder to the wrist length. That's 23 inches. And I added 2 inches to it because of the ruffle. There is ruffle there at the sleeve. So I added 2 inches to that, which makes the hem line 25 inches. So that's the 23, and the other one, this one is 25 inches. So from my starting point, I also measure 5 inches. I measured 5 inches. That will serve as the fullest part of the sleeve, which is the bicep. I measured that out. And also, I measured 2 inches again. I don't know the name of this side. Actually, I won't lie, I don't know the name this part is called. And the circumference of my bicep is 13 inches divided by 2. So which means I used 6 inches. And because because of the puff, I added 1 inch for normal allowance, our usual allowance, and also added 2-inch extra allowance. That's for the ease, because it's free. It's a free sleeve and it has ruffles and puff. Then whatever I use at the bicep, I will add extra 1 inch for it here to have this slant shape. And at the shoulder here, I will measure 3 inches. I'll measure 3 inches, then use a curve line to connect it back to the 2 inches. So whatever I use at the bicep, I'll use the same measurement at the hem line here. So I transferred the same measurement back to the hem line here. So that's to tell you that if you are bigger than me, if your sleeve is bigger than mine, you will be using more than half yard for this sleeve part. So after connecting it, I had to blend this side, the bicep side. I had to blend it. Then from the hem line, I measure another 5 inch. The 5 inch is for the ruffle part, and I root the 5 inch out. Then after that, I measure another 1 inch, cause I'll be fixing in my rubber band. I'll be fixing in my rubber, sorry, and I'll be using 1/2 inch rubber. So that's why I measured 1 inch. You know it's going to be inside and it has to be free. That's why I use this 1 inch for the rubber part, sorry. So I cut out everything. And I went ahead to notch the rubber, the ruffle parts which the rubber will be fixed. I also notched the part that will be connected to the shoulder. I notched the middle. So now to the machine, I used my bias tape to turn the neckline. So if you like, you can use facing for this neckline. So you open the, you know, the bias are 2 sides folded in. So you open one side and stitch all through. You stitch the neckline all through. Having done with that, I turned it to the right side. You know, I stitched from the wrong side, so I turned it to the right side. Sorry, I stitched from the right side, then I turned it back to the wrong side, then fold it this way. So the other side of the bias that is folded, you leave it folded, then you stitch on it. So you stitch on it all through. Then I did the same thing for the front bodies. The next thing now is to stitch the 2 shoulders together, the front and the back shoulder. You stitch the two shoulders together. Now I'm done with the shoulder. I've given it a good press at the neckline. The next thing now is to stitch the measurements. You can see how easy this high and low circle dress is. Very easy. So you'll be stitching like 1 inch or 1/2 inch, depends on your choice. You know, it's a maxi cloth, so it has to be very free. So having done with the dress, the next thing is to stitch the sleeve. So first of all, I'll be stitching the hem line. So I folded it this way. This is the hem. I folded it in this way. Having done with that, the next thing is to stitch the ruffle part. So I'll still be using my bias, but this time I'll be opening the folded parts just to make it wider. So at first I will stitch one side of the bias, just stitch the edge, the tiny edge, just stitch that out and ensure you stitch on it too, just in order to avoid your rubber coming out. So after stitching one side, then you stitch the other side as well. Please don't mind my train. So the next thing is to fix in my rubber. So for the rubber, I used 12 inch. Now I'm done fixing in my rubber. I tied a knot at the edge in order to secure it. Then I also went ahead to stitch 1 inch. You know, I said I added 1 inch for allowance. Now this is our sleeve. You can see how lovely it's looking. Finally, we'll be stitching our sleeve to the armhole. So I reshaped the armhole. I didn't show the parts, so I reshaped the armhole. I reshaped it with the 7 inches. I placed my tape at the shoulder, then measure 7 inches again and just reshape the armhole anyways. Now to fix the sleeve, you ensure the joint part of both the bodice and the sleeve are connected together. Then you stitch all through. Now while stitching, the reason for the notch at the upper part of the sleeve is for the pleats. You ensure it is well pleated and the notch is connected to the edge, to the middle of the shoulder. So this is the band, or let me say the belt. So I used the circumference of my waist, which is 30 inches, and I added 6 inches extra to make it 36. You can see, sorry, I added 4 inches to make it 34. Then I'll be using Velcro, if I pronounce it well. And I'll be folding it this way. I actually use 6 inches for the width and the length is 34 inches. So after folding it together, I turned it to the right side and give it a good press. I added stay. It's the thick stay, the peplum stay that I used. I used peplum stay for this. So for the Velcro, I measured the length, which is 3 inches. Then I measure the 3 inches and cut it out. I ensure the edge is equal. So now, don't mind that part is the stay that puts that pattern there. There is gum on the stay, so it's just stained that side. Anyways, so I folded the rough edge in, then I placed the Velcro on it, and I did that for the other side as well. Just when you are placing it, just ensure that one side is facing in and one side is facing out. You understand when I do that now. You can see. So this is the other part. You can see one is facing in and the other is placed out. One is in and the other is out. So now for this other side, I fold the edge in as well. Then I'll be stitching on it this way. Now this is the end of the tutorial. So thank you very much for watching this video to the end. Please like and share this video, and if it has done you any good, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.